Family, this is so exciting. During my martial soul awakening, I directly manifested the 12-winged fallen angel martial soul, and a blood-red long sword popped out, as well double martial souls right from start. This all started when I crossed over to Douluo Continent and bound to an automatic cultivation system. And later, there were a ton of exciting events at the 7-treasure glazed tile school. I tell you, I was completely stunned. One moment I was standing in the martial soul awakening array, and the next second, 12 pairs of pitch black wings exploded from my back. That aura, that pressure, it completely bewildered the guy in charge of the awakening. Before he could react, a blood-red long sword with 7 black stars engraved on it suddenly appeared in my hand. Does anyone understand? Double martial souls, starting off at full power. Let me start from the beginning. I was just an ordinary high school student, and when I closed my eyes and opened them again, bam, I crossed over to Douluo Continent and turned back into a 6-year-old child. At that moment, I wanted to curse the system's whole family, but it replied, "Host, the system doesn't have a mother. Fine, you're something else." Just as I was about to let loose a stream of curses, it bound me to an automatic cultivation system. When I heard that, hey, I absolutely loved it. Leveling up while AFK? Isn't this tailor-made for someone as lazy as me? Just lying around like a salted fish and leveling up, I was already feeling great about it. The system was quite generous and directly gave me a starter pack with 2 soul ring options and a spatial ring, everything I needed. While I was enjoying myself, my childhood friend, Tang San came over and dragged me to awaken my martial soul. When we arrived at the martial soul hall, the village elder, Jack, started telling his well-rehearsed story about becoming a soul sage. Then the attendant responsible for the awakening, named Su Yuntao, jumped down from the roof with a duong, looking quite proud. The awakening ceremony began, and the first few kids had either size or Ho-san entire agricultural tool exhibition. When it was Tang San's turn, he awakened the blue-silver grass with full innate soul power. Su Yuntao's expression was like someone who won 5 million only to find out the lottery ticket was expiry, kept lamenting. Then it was my turn. Everything was normal at first, but when that energy entered my body, it exploded instantly. Just like I said at the beginning, the 12-winged, fallen angel martial soul manifested right away. Su Yuntao turned pale, muttering something about the most evil existence and the Pope's nemesis, and his gaze towards me, Chang'et, was like looking at a ticking time bomb. Next came the soul power test. I placed my hand on the crystal ball, but it didn't respond for a long time. I thought, oh no, and then finally, the last ball lit up just a little level 1. When Su Yuntao saw that I had only level 1 soul power, his vigilant expression immediately relaxed. He must have thought, a talentless waste can't stir up any trouble. But what he didn't know was that my system was a 247 automatic leveling beast. That night, Tang San and I discussed things on the rooftop. He was heading to Notting Academy, and I needed to quickly find someone powerful to rely on. The people at the Martial Soul Hall were looking at me strangely, and I didn't have a titled Douluo father to back me up. Plus, my system had a subsystem called the Goddess Sign-In System, which doubled my cultivation speed if I signed in with a goddess. So, to get stronger, I accepted this task. Thus, I rolled and crawled my way to the 7-treasure glazed tile school. On the day of the recruitment, the place was packed with people. When it was my turn to test, the examiner shouted, "Number 101, Yichun, innate full soul power." The whole place fell silent, and thousands of eyes instantly focused on me. But embarrassingly, I couldn't call out my fallen angel martial soul at all. Just then, the sect master, Ning Fengji, personally came over and pointed at my forehead. As a result, the fallen angel didn't come out, but the blood-red 7-star demon abyss sword appeared with a whoosh. Ning Fengji was immediately excited, muttering something about god-level martial souls and ancient legends. While he was still excited, someone flew down from the sky, dressed in white with white hair, handsome as hell without saying a word. He used his power to whisk me away. When I opened my eyes again, I was already in a thatched cottage. The person in front of me was undoubtedly the Sword Douluo Qianrenxue. He was sipping tea and casually asked if I wanted to be his closed-door disciple. I tell you, this is the Sword Douluo. Anyone would have to bow and pay respects, right? But I couldn't. My cursed sign-in task was to become the disciple of Bone Douluo. In a moment of madness, I blurted out, "Senior, I'm sorry, but I actually admire Bone Douluo more." The Sword Douluo's face immediately darkened. He told me to wait for him at Donglin at midnight, and then he disappeared. Just when I was feeling troubled, a small cannonball-like figure rushed, eyeing a little girl with braids, wearing a white dress, holding a butterfly, fiercely pointed at me. "Who are you? Why are you in Grandpa Jian's house? You thief." Before I could explain, she suddenly pounced on me, pushing me down to the ground. Family, who understands? Here I am, a future big shot, being pinned down by a 6-year-old girl. We rolled into a ball, and she wouldn't let go like a sticky candy. Just as I was about to suffocate, a lazy voice came from the doorway. "Hey, what are you two kids doing? You have to grow up before you can have a room together." Both of us froze, and the little girl immediately let go of me. I looked up to see a skinny old man. "Hey, Bon Douluo." He chuckled at me and said, "Ha, my dear disciple, this child, Rong, is just a bit impatient." Disciple? Rong? My head buzzed, and the system's prompt sounded. Successfully became Bon Douluo's disciple. Congratulations to the host for completing the God assignment task. Automatic cultivation speed increased by 100. Damn, I felt like dying on the spot. Signing in successfully meant that this little tiger, named Ning Rong, would have her favorability towards me shoot up to 300. Sure enough, when I turned my head, her gaze towards me had changed. One moment, she wanted to break my legs, and the next, she looked at me with a soft gaze. Her little face flushed as she pushed me. "Grandpa Bon has accepted you as a disciple. You should hurry." What could I say? I could only kneel down and pay my respects. Bon Douluo gave me a welcome gift and then strolled away. Inside the room, it was just me and Ning Rong, and the atmosphere was incredibly awkward. She was the first to speak, pulling my hand and saying she would take me to eat. However, just as we reached the training ground, we were blocked by a group of boys aged 11 or 12. The leading boy pointed at my nose and shouted, "Kid, let go of your filthy hands. How dare you tarnish the lady?" Another one chimed in, "Who do you think you are, wild dog? Do you even know where this is? The lattice hand is not something you can hold." I couldn't help but laugh. Wow, these little brats were acting like they were holding a struggle session, each one taking turns to surround me. I, being unbothered, raised a hand, tightly holding Rong's, and shook in front of them, innocently replying, Hey, look, clearly it was your little goddess who took my hand first. Also, good dogs don't block the way. We're hungry and need to go eat, got it?" The leading boy turned green with anger. His neck stuck out as he shouted, "We're blocking. What can you do about it?" I burst out laughing. "Then you really are a bunch of bad dogs." With that one sentence, I silenced the group of 11 or 12-year-old simps. Family, who understands? The way these little fans looked at Ning Rong was like looking at their own goddess. And now their goddess was being held by this wild kid who popped out of nowhere. They were about to explode with anger. Just then, a boy around 13 or 14 years old, looking somewhat decent but with a face that screamed, "I want to eat you," pushed through the crowd and pointed at my nose. "My name is Yao Hai, and I challenge you to a 3-day duel." I hadn't even spoken yet when Ning Rong exploded, directly shielding me. "Yao Hai, do you still want any face? You're already so old, with a soul power of level 26 and soul rings. Our Yichen only has level 10 soul power. Our family? Goodness, Rong's phrase, our Yichen, was like adding fuel to the fire. The looks from Yao Hai and his gang towards me instantly escalated from jealousy to deep hatred. I didn't care and readily agreed. "Sure, 3 days from now, here it'll wait for you." After saying that, I walked towards the cafeteria with Rong, nonchalantly under their murderous gazes. After eating, I sneaked into the bamboo forest next to the sword pavilion to lie down and slack off. Let me tell you, my cultivation method is all about going with the flow. While I was dozing off, I suddenly felt someone calling me from beside me. When I opened my eyes, the moon was already high in the sky, and Douluo Qianrenxue was sitting next to me like a ghost, frowning so much that he could squash a fly. "You brat have such good talent, and instead of meditating properly, you just lie around." I felt wronged and said to him, "Senior Qian, you don't know, if I really meditate seriously, my soul power upgrade speed would be terribly slow." He didn't speak, but his eyes clearly said, "You keep making excuses." I was bitter inside. My automatic cultivation system feared nothing more than me actively trying to cultivate. When the two systems clashed, the efficiency would drop to 0. I was purely forced to be a salted fish for the sake of my cultivation. I wanted to explain further, but he interrupted me, extending his hand, and the stunning silver-white long sword from earlier appeared in front of me. My eyes lit up. "Is this for me? Dream on." I was speechless at that moment. Why take it out if you're not giving it to me? This was just blatant showing off. But then he said something even more absurd. "Take it. Let it accompany you for 10 days. Huh? You want me to sleep with a sword for 10 days? What kind of nonsense is this? Although I was filled with question marks, I still took it. Then he just left. He really just walked away. No imparting of skills, no discussion of swordsmanship, leaving me alone under the moonlight holding a sword.